So guys, back on Facecam, excuse the quarantine here, but at least the camera's up and running again. Today I'm going to give it to you very straight about my feelings for the Flash Season 6 finale, but there is a whole bunch of context in mind that I want to get clear in terms of the defense of the show, because obviously the illness has taken over the world and it caused a lot of delay, which meant we were supposed to get 3 more episodes after this episode, which naturally doesn't really make this a fitting finale anyway, so I wanted to get that right off the bat, because what I have to say about this episode, whilst there's nothing inherently wrong about it, I do want to get that clear, it just felt like a boring season finale. It just did. I was genuinely struggling to maintain interest at certain points. But yet again, to add more defense and context to this was meant to have 3 episodes after it. Episode 20, 21, 22. That's 3 entire episodes on top of this season finale. We had to make do with this, and they definitely did try and make it very to be continued towards the end. But I don't know. I just feel like there's the stories in the show right now in the back half are to a bit of the detriment of the season as a whole as well. I actually thought I was enjoying the whole Mirrorverse stuff more than I did Bloodwork, but now this season is over. In retrospect to this, just this whole review of this episode, but this whole season as well, I would say that Bloodwork was a lot better. Now that this whole Mirrorverse stuff is panned out, or should I say dragged out, because that's one of the main flaws in this storyline, I feel, is even though this was the season finale and it wasn't supposed to be the season finale, things most certainly did drag out. I think that this episode could have been made a lot more interesting and a lot more fulfilling for some fans. For example, they could have actually got Iris out of the Mirrorverse and still left a to be continued moment off with Ava being out there publicly taking back the CEO of McCulloch Industries or Technologies of whatever it's called. That would have been like fulfilling to people who have felt as though Iris has been stuck in the goddamn Mirrorverse for way too long now. So getting her back, whilst you want to leave some sort of a to be continued moment, we would have still had that with the main villain being out there in Central City, as I just gave you an example a second ago, with 3 episodes left to kind of continue off, right? But another thing they could have done to knock it out the park, I feel at least, is that the artificial Speed Force stuff has been dragged out way too long as well. I've been mentioning in my previous reviews, and I know, by the way, just this is a little bit of a different review. I'm not exactly going through the episode bullet point by bullet point, because I guess this is like an overall review of the episode, which I'll get into those details in a bit, but this is also like an overall, I don't know, consensus of how I feel about not only this episode, but this season. But as I said, Artificial Speed Force, I actually thought that he was going to run out of his last droplet when Barry woke up from his little nap of being, hit by all the mirror shards when Ava McCulloch first came out into Barry and Iris's apartment. I thought maybe he would have spent it there. Then I thought, okay, he might spend the last of it in the Godspeed episode. Still didn't happen. And in this episode, they're like, can't do the sweeps around the city because, still haven't got the Artificial Speed Force running, yet. And it's just, it would have been really good if they somehow did something with that. I don't know. I know this finale wasn't predicted. This episode wasn't predicted to be the finale. So you could say all of these pieces maybe would have been put in place for this episode if they knew in advance that they might have to shut down. I completely accept that. But what I am basing it off of is that regardless, even if we have or haven't got these extra 3 episodes, this is still the storyline that they put in place. So I imagine in the original season run, whether we got a full season or not, I would have still felt like this is dragging on. So it would have just been, I'm trying to offer some counterbalances here, just to say, if Iris got out by the end of the episode, that would have been great, but then, something really bad could have happened with another character. Maybe Ava did something really bad. I guess she did that with Sue Dearborn by the end of the episode. She framed her for her husband's murder, but whoopie-doo, I know we're supposed to like Sue a bit more now, but does anyone really care about that too much? I mean, I don't, at least for now, but it's more story, I guess, to Ralph and Sue going forward. But there wasn't too much there at the end of the episode as what I felt like there could have been. And I think those 2 things would have made things a lot more interesting. So one more time to go over it. Iris coming out, because that is so dragged out now. I almost don't care. Like, yes, she's going a bit loopy, but okay. And then the Artificial Speed Force. It would have been really cool even if he didn't run out of his last drop this episode. Maybe he did, but then they created it, and then the cliffhanger was that caused some really trippy thing as well. But yet again, it was just nothing but a typical kind of episode. Iris still trying to get out, whoop-de-doo, trying to figure some things out, got the neural dissonance there. Okay, you know, sort of interested, but this has been long past due, you know, a resolution. Then we had the Joseph Carver stuff. I can't stand that guy. And that's not really a real critique, but okay, Joseph Carver, you evil man. I knew you were going to die this episode, and lo and behold, you did. Cisco wasn't in this episode. A lot of us predicted that anyway, because he said he needed to go find something in Atlantis, and, you know, not like we were ever going to see Atlantis on the CW. So Cisco naturally wasn't in this episode. Yeah, again, another kind of consequence of just the illness, you know, cutting these episodes short. Unfortunately, we won't see Cisco Ramon until next season. The new suit for Ava, I really liked it. I really like how she has a mirror gun that kind of comes out of her arm now, because, you know, there's this whole thing as she was explaining to Captain Singh, or should I say Chief Singh, that the properties inside her little reflection modulation chamber help her with her acclimation process. So I don't know, either way, she's got these properties that kind of help her really morph, just like the Mirror Master would in the real world. And as I said, there's nothing inherently wrong about Ava McCulloch. There's nothing wrong with her character or even the villain per se. I just feel like everything that's darted around this storyline has kind of made it a little bit dull. I truly do feel it, bottom line, the downfall of Ava McCulloch's villainous storyline has been the plot points being dragged out too long. Obviously, we have to bear in mind the original finale was going to have a cliffhanger of the Reverse Flash, and I'm trying to bear in mind, okay, where would things have gone after this episode? Because Ava McCulloch, by the end of the episode, you know, kind of skipping into that now, she's become, you know, public. I've been kidnapped for like the past 6 years or missing somewhere. My husband has been murdered, and she's taken over as the CEO. So I guess in episode 20, I kind of liked that. She's become a bit more of a, oh, I'm out in the public villain now. This is going to be a bit more complicated. The last time they did something like that was kind of with DeVoe. Now, as for the actual McCulloch Technologies kind of battle, I admit, I see the effort they were putting into that. I really do. But this just didn't do it for me. I don't know what it was, whether it was the editing. I get what they were trying to do there, like have these little mirror kind of segments to the fights, but it was really kind of rubbing me up the wrong way. I just feel like it didn't come across as cool as they intended it to be. Plus, I don't know about you guys, but I don't really care too much at all about you know, Sunshine, Ultraviolet, the other black hole agent. I don't know, maybe if this fight had a bit of speedster action in it, but other than that, like, I admire it, I respect it, let me put it that way, but that doesn't mean I like it. It was just a bit, with the music especially, the music was a bit strange. They tried adding a little bit of kind of character drama in there with Barry and Nash kind of pointing out, or should I say Harry pointing out to Nash, that the Barry we know would have never considered a deal to trade Carver for Iris's life, and I guess Barry is getting pretty desperate to get Iris back now. I don't know if that was meant to develop into anything bigger, like, you know, by the next episode and the episode after that, when would Iris actually, this is the next question, when was Iris originally meant to get out of the goddamn Mirrorverse, especially by the end of the episode with what happened to her? So maybe they were teasing with that Nash stuff and the conversation he had with Barry, because they've had a couple of scenes together in the past couple of episodes with a bit of tension, Nash and Barry. Wonder if that would have turned into anything. But anyway, Iris is still in the Mirrorverse, and the neural dissonance gets to a point of where she just disappears. I've actually been thinking this for a few episodes now. It'd be kind of cool if she became her own kind of like mirror character, like with mirror powers. I mean, technically, there's no reason as to why that wouldn't happen, especially if she's going through the same stuff that Ava McCulloch did in the Mirrorverse. Not that I seriously think she will become a new Mirror Master, Iris that is. I don't think anything major happened to her, you know, with her disappearance at the end of the episode. I think maybe this is just a kind of like, you know, acclimating to the Mirrorverse to the point where she's now activated a power that maybe makes her disappear, but she's going to be able to reappear, but she just doesn't know how to do that yet. It was just a bit of like a end of the episode moment, which was, I think, intended to be, oh, wow, what's happened to Iris? But the audience really think, oh, really? Here we go again, like, still here? So yeah, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to say I'm acknowledging what they're trying to do. But do I care about it? Not really. I mean, if I liked it, guys, if I really liked it, I'd be saying that. But this just all feels very mediocre to me. I don't want to be too harsh on this episode, as I keep saying over and over again now, because I realize when you just kind of come out with a review like this, it's like, oh, well, I thought it was okay, why didn't you? But, you know, I do cut it quite a bit of slack, because obviously there were 3 entire episodes to go on after this. We didn't get that, and that's really unfortunate, because it makes this season finale pretty underwhelming, to say the least. And oh man, I'm just so intrigued to find out what that Reverse Flash cliffhanger would have been. Eric Wallace has teased, check out my last Flash video if you haven't seen it, that it would make Reverse Flash fans giggle with delight, what they're still going to do. But as for like the next 3 episodes that were originally intended to finish off this season, I think they teased that it's going to be condensed down a little bit in the next few episodes of season 7, which is very interesting if they're going to skip forward the Ava McCulloch Mirror Master storyline to be resolved maybe by 702. We're gonna have to wait and see there. As for the Caitlyn stuff, I don't talk about it a lot, because this is blatantly like a side plot pregnant storyline for Danielle Panabaker. Okay, they can build upon this. I'm interested in the fact that, you know, they've had her mum in this episode, and well, they didn't have her in last episode, but they're teasing the fact that this is going to continue forward. The end goal can still lead somewhere next season, because her mother was revealed to be somewhat of a metahuman, and that hasn't been explored so far yet. But if you remember the little details about her metahuman test, you'll know that's where they were going with that. So I don't know. Other than that, I don't really want to break that down, because it's literally nothing for now. So yeah, I know that was a little bit of a different format for the review. It's more of like a sit-down discussion, you know, talking about the stuff directly from the top of my head. But I do want to get it out there once again. There's nothing inherently wrong about this. I actually really like the actress for Ava McCulloch. I like the character even. Just feel like her villainous storyline for graphic novel part 2 of season 6, as Eric Wallace puts it, would have been a lot more entertaining, given the things that I think, it's not just me saying it, it's a lot of the fans. So season 6 overall, guys, it's been an improvement on season 5. But unfortunately, I don't think it was the improvement. It was the improvement we needed, but it wasn't like an improvement that was gilded with anything. It didn't give us any sugarcoating. It gave us the boost up we needed from just how awful Cicada was, and, you know, how ridiculous that season was getting. This season feels a lot more tidier. It feels like the quality is improved from a structural standpoint. You know, there has been some interesting storylines going on. Love the approach of the graphic novel aspect to it all. But overall, you know, with that first attempt of this new formula, I would say it would have been great if they really came in packing a punch, as I said, like gilding it with just some kind of extra sheen. But I feel like it suffered a little bit from what I've already pointed out. It was just a little bit boring at times. And, you know, to make matters even worse, the whole illness kicked in, and they had the last 3 episodes of their season completely shaved, which, you know, with more of a retrospect, with that in mind, if we've seen those 3 episodes with that Reverse Flash cliffhanger that we were supposed to be getting, I may be saying a whole complete different thing right now, even though I still think we would all agree that the Mirrorverse Ara stuff went on for too long, and, you know, what the heck's going on with the artificial speed force. But that is my review, guys, so I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know if you actually still really enjoyed it. But if you want to talk more about stuff like this with me, guys, you can join my Discord server now that season 6 is over, which is crazy to say. But yeah, I think that's everything for now, so thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you speedsters in the next video. Goodbye.